Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, I hope that all of you are fine and studying at home, and I hope that all of you are giving a due time, proper time to your studies. I hope my voice is clear and everyone is able to listen to me. Okay, so you know very well that we are right now, we are going through chapter number one, and the chapter number one is mainly relevant to history of the computer system. Last time we had gone through some different devices which were basically introduced in the early ages for the sake of calculations. And we discussed about abacus, we discussed about Napier bones, we discussed about slide rule as well, we discussed about the Pascaline machine, we also discussed about the Hollerith desk, a special device which was made for doing calculations relevant to the census. Okay, we discussed about the difference engine and analytical engines as well, and all these were the things that we have already gone through. Okay, and we also had a review of the Mark 1, which was the initial stage of the digital computation, and now we have to see basically the properties and characteristics, of generations of computer systems. We had started actually characteristics of generations of computer systems. Is there anyone who can explain the characteristics, who can give a complete review of the characteristics of only, I'm just talking about right now, first generation? How will you identify that this system belongs to first generation, this system belongs to second generation? What will be the characteristics that we need to understand? And you may know that you may have the MCQs as well about these characteristics, and you can have short questions as well about these characteristics. So, what are those characteristics? How will you identify that these particular characteristics belong to first generation? Will you please raise the hand and will participate to give answer about it? I'm just talking about right now the generation which is first generation actually. Yes, please. Can you give some feedback about it? Okay. So, who will give this idea about the first generation? I am just talking about right now about first generation. Yes, will you raise the hand and will you give some feedback about it? What is meant by generation? Why we are calling them generation? Who will explain this? Generation. No one will raise the hand, or will I have to call the names? Generation. Can anyone explain about the generations of computers? So yes, can you explain the generation? What does it mean, and how many generations are there? Yes, Abdul Muiz. Abdul Muiz. Will you raise the hand? Then I will unmute you. Malik Masab. Yes. Will you please explain this? Okay, Iman Abid has raised the hand. Okay, please.
Sir, there are four generations
What?
of computer.
Okay.
The generation of computer is history of ancient Athens,
Okay.
and in the 19th century.
So what is why we are saying that this is first generation, this is second generation? Why? What is the need of this? Is there any need to define generations? Keep yourself unmuted. What is the need of these generations? Yes, anyone else? Can anyone else define the generations? Because we need to categorize the computers according to their capacities, so if we will say computer is computer, so we will not be able to understand their characteristics. That's why they have been categorized in generations. That what was the revolutionary process in computer systems, how they changed how they changed their capabilities with the passage of time. So when that era was there, for example, 1940 to 1956, these are 16 years, 16, 17 years. So in these 17 years, the computer systems were like vacuum, having large size in which there were vacuum tubes, using which the processing was done using computer systems. This thing is clear? Okay. So that is actually the case, that we need to identify that this is this generation. And they, of course, when this generation was there, so they had some specific characteristics. What were the characteristics of first generation? Who will tell me the characteristics of first generation, please? Yes. Yes, Masab. What were the characteristics of the first generation?
The first generation computer used vacuum tubes. Speed was slow and memory was very small. They were huge in size, taking up entire room.
They were huge in size, taking up entire room. Okay. Okay, fine. And they were generating heat. Their size was very large, they were expensive to make. Every organization was not able to use them. All these are the properties. They used to use the vacuum tubes in order to make processing done. Okay, good. So these are the characteristics. They consumed a lot of power as well. Input was based on punch card, output was based on the printouts taken from the modern typewriter. Input was using punch cards. Zeros and ones were, as I had shown you on the screen by Google search, that what kind of punch card were there that were used in those machines. Okay, what are the famous examples of the first generation machines? You are not going to do a Pentium Quad or Pentium 3 or Pentium 4 or Pentium hyper threaded. No, IBM PC, this PC, or Dell and HP laptops that we are using. What were the examples of that time of first generation? If it comes in the MCQs, or if you need to write the names of the examples of first generation computers, so what you are going to write? Yes, can anyone give some idea about it? These names are already written in front of you. Yes, Iman.
Examples of first edition is mini mainframe and electronic numerical integrator and computer, universal automatic computer,
Okay.
electronic delay
Okay. Good.
automatics.
Good. So these were the examples of the first generation computer system. So you must know all these things. Mark 1, EDSA SAC, IBM 604, automatic computer, okay, electronic delay storage, automatic calculator, universal automatic computer, electronic numerical integrator and computer, ENIAC. So you must know at least two, three names. If a short question comes to write down the three examples of first generation computers, so what you are going to write? Of course, you must know at least three, four names for that purpose. Now, come towards the second generation. First of all, for each generation, you must know the era from where it was started, from which year and in which year it was ended. Second generation computers 1956 to 63. Now these are almost 7 years, 7, 8 years are there. 1956 to 1963. First generation 1940 to 1956. 1956 to 1963. Now this is second generation. Okay, three main scientists were there: William Shockley and John Bredin and Walter Bratton. They worked on, different uh, equipments which were basically the digital equipments, and they removed vacuum tubes by transistor. So transistor was the main innovation. The main innovation was their transistor. In first generation, the main innovation was vacuum tubes. Okay, vacuum tubes were replaced by the transistor, and that's why the size of the system was comparatively reduced. So they started using transistors instead of using vacuum tubes. Okay, transistors functions like a vacuum tube. It replaced the vacuum tubes in second generation computer systems, and transistors were, of course, more reliable, and they were faster, and they were small in size. So when they were small in size, of course, they need to use less power. Less power consumption was there. Less power was used, less heat was generated as compared to first generation. We are not saying that the heat generation was entirely removed. We are not saying. So heat generation will be there, of course, but comparatively it will be less. Comparatively there will be less heat if we compare it with the first generation. And of course they were also cheap. So all these were the characteristics of the second generation. The following are the characteristics. Now how we are going to write these characteristics as we mentioned in the first generation. Just like in first generation we said that they were producing heat, they were huge in size, and they were using very um, large quantity of power. Max quantity of power was there. So how do we understand this thing, that what are the characteristics of the second generation? What are the characteristics? Transistors replaced vacuum tubes, hence size was reduced, number one point. And when size was reduced, of course, the speed was also increased and the memory capacity was also increased. Computers became more reliable and cheaper. When the size is reduced, everyone is able to manage. No one is there to manage it inside a complete large room, so they reduced the size. So these were the characteristics. Second generation computers used punch cards and punch card readers, magnetic tapes and magnetic discs and printers. So over here you can see still no keyboard is there. Keyboard is not there still in the second generation. Keyboard was not there in the first generation. Keyboard is not there in the second generation. How do they take input and output? Input was using punch cards and output was on the printout papers. But one more thing was there, that magnetic tapes and discs were introduced for the sake of storage of data. The data storage was become Advanced, it became advanced, and there were more options for the sake of storage. So these are the characteristics. Assembly language was introduced. Now, still in first generation, there were only 0 and 1 machine language was there. Only machine language was used. Okay, in first generation. If we talk about the first generation, so in first generation, only machine language was there. Machine language. But when we talk about the second generation, so with the machine language, there was another language introduced called assembly language, which was easier as compared to the machine language. Why it is easier? Take one example. If I give you the number 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, or 0, 0, or 1. Okay, these are the numbers. And I say that you need to remember this number. You have to give input for this number. Okay, let's suppose. So it is difficult to remember or easy to remember? And I give you to remember AX. Which one is easy to remember? Which one is easy to remember? Sayyid Muhammad Hussain. Which one is
Sir, EX.
AX is easy to remember and this one is
Yes,
difficult to remember. So
yes, sir.
machine language was difficult to program, difficult to give instructions to the computer system. Assembly language used to give codes to such numbers. It means there was an easier method to remember the long binary values, to give addresses to specific binary values to store inside and to process them. AX, BX, CX, it is easy to remember. So that's why assembly language made it easier to understand, to note down the things, to do the processing. And in first generation, there was only machine language, but in second generation, the assembly language was introduced. This thing is clear? This point is clear? Now, come towards the next point. High level programming languages, just like Fortran, COBOL, were introduced. These were only introduced, okay, but these were not used as such. So, if you see over here in your book, they have also mentioned about this point that high level languages were introduced, okay, but mainly assembly language was used. But high level languages were introduced, but these languages started working in third generation, but these were introduced in second generation. So what are the characteristics of the second generation? Transistors are used instead of vacuum tubes, number one. Because of the transistors, the size of the computer was reduced, number two. Computers became cheaper and reliable, and there was less heat generation as the vacuum tubes had been removed. Input and output was still using the punch card and typewriter, but instead of typewriter, printer was also introduced, and the storage devices were also introduced. Storage devices, magnetic tapes, disks, these were also introduced, which were not there in the first generation. Okay, now assembly language was used in those computers, and Fortran, COBOL, such type of high level languages were also introduced. High level languages were also introduced. What are the examples of the second generation? UNIVAC 2, IBM 730, 7780, 7090. Now these are the different editions, given by the IBM. NCR 300 series. So you must remember these examples. Why? Because these could be asked in MCQs. In MCQs, you may be asked about it. Okay, so you need to be very much clear about it. Okay, I hope that second generation is now clear. Now we see that what happened in the third generation, what were the different innovation which were introduced in third generation. You need to remember importantly mainly three things. Number one, what was the era? From which year to which year, which generation was there, from which year to which year? Era is very important. Just like third generation is from 1963 to 1971. It is being started from 1963 to 1971. And then you need to remember the characteristics, those features which were introduced, which were there in that generation. You need to remember that. And then, thirdly, you must know the examples. What were the examples of the different devices, of the different machines introduced by different companies in that generation? So these are the three areas for which you need to prepare yourself for exam. Which year was there? Number one. What were the characteristics of the computers in those days? Number two. The features, different features. And number three, what were the different machines examples? Because these examples could be asked in MCQs. So the third generation is from 1963 to 1971. You can see that these are the 4 5 years. Now, transistors were replaced by ICs. Keep in mind that transistor is the basic unit of ICs. It does not mean that transistors were removed. No, transistors were there, but transistors were converted into advanced format, which is basically in IC. IC is basically also known as semiconductor chips, were introduced in the third generation. Multiple transistors constitute the ICs. Now I think this point is clear. Okay. Multiple transistors are there which constitute the ICs. So if you will go and you will find out on Google, define transistor. Okay. So you will see that transistor is basically semiconductor device with three connections capable of amplifying in addition to rectification. But if you will go to definition of IC, IC in electronics or in computer, IC also called microelectronic circuit, microchip or a chip, an assembly of electronic components fabricated as a single unit. This is called IC, in which miniaturized active devices, for example, transistors or diodes, and passive devices, capacitors and resistors, and their interconnections are built on a small chip. So what does it mean? It means that inside the ICs there are transistors. Inside the ICs there are transistors. Furthermore, if you would go and you will differentiate them, difference between the IC and transistor. IC and transistor. A single transistor acts as current amplifier or as an on-off switch. Okay. But integrated circuit is made from silicon as well, but uses lithographic or pattern or as an entire circuit onto the resulting chip. Billions of individual transistors are there. Billions of individual transistors are there in one IC. I hope that this point is clear. I hope that. Now come towards the next point, which is a single IC chip contains a large number of transistors. IC chips increase the power and decrease the cost of the computer system. Hence, power was power and the features and the advancement of the computer system. It was of course raised because of the innovation of the ICs. And of course, the size of the computer system was also reduced, and there were better technology available in order to do the processing. Okay, so instead of using individual transistors, they started using ICs which were containing a number of transistors in one chip. IC is a small chip. This point is clear now. I hope that this point is clear. Now come towards the characteristics. What were the characteristics? IC chips improved the speed and memory of computers. Speed was improved, memory was improved. Computers consumed less electricity, became smaller, cheaper, and more reliable as compared to second generation. Now, third generation, we are comparing it with the second generation. Keyboard and monitor were used with the computer. Keyboard and monitors. Now you can see that over here in this generation display has come. Before, in first generation, in second generation, even over there was no monitor. So now you will see that how they would see the output. They used to see the print the output. They used to print the output. Okay, and how they used to give the input. They used to give input in the form of zeros and ones in first generation using punch cards, and I had shown you the picture of the punch cards as well. Remember, punch cards. Zeros and ones, you can mention the zeros and ones in this form. Zeros and ones, you know the punches are there which are mentioning about 0 and 1, 0 and 1, 0. In this way they used to give input to the computer system. Are you getting this point? In binary format. So it was a difficult job. No keyboard was there in first generation, no keyboard was there in second generation. Properly keyboard was introduced in third generation. Okay. Similarly, display was also introduced in third generation, and you can see the era. What was the era? Means keyboard and monitor, they were introduced in 1963 to 1971. Before that, there was no specific keyboard. Now, this point is clear or not? Now, come towards the next point. These computers could run different application programs at the same time. Some examples of the third generation computers are Borov 6700, IBM System 360, okay, and Control Data Corporation 3300 and 6600. These were the computers introduced at that time. IBM 360, IBM System 360, this is the famous one. I hope that this point is clear, and the third generation, the characteristics of the third generation are now clear to all the students. This is clear or not? This is clear, good. Let me mark the attendance. So today it is class 9th new, and today it is 11th. Okay, fine. Now we move toward the fourth generation. Fourth generation, is basically overlapped with the fifth generation. Why I am saying overlapped? Because right now we are in fourth generation, but we have also entered in fifth generation as well. Because fifth generation is the most modern generation of the computer system. But right now, mainly we are at the peak of the fourth generation, but with the fourth generation, the fifth generation is also started. You must know about it. Now, what are the different characteristics of the fourth generation? The IC is changed into microprocessor. Into microprocessor means multiple ICs will constitute the microprocessor. So over here, large scale integration and very large scale integration is there in the fourth generation. And you know the new device which is developed over here for data processing is the microprocessor. So in fourth generation, the PCs that we are using today, we have got microprocessors in them, and even now we have got multiple microprocessors inside one chip. So this is called multiprocessor, which is called Pentium Quad, Pentium Core 2 Dual, Dual Core 2 Dual Quad, multi-story processor. So there are advancements day to day, even in the microprocessors. Okay, so microprocessor is the chip which is introduced. So basic difference in the processing mechanism is just because of the microprocessor. A microprocessor is a single chip that can handle all the processing of the computer system. You know that there is CPU, central processing unit, but besides the CPU, there are some different processors, just like processor of VGA card, processor of LAN card, processor of sound card, processor of gaming card. If you have installed some graphic card as well, so all these devices they have their own special purpose processors as well. But the computer system has got its main CPU as well, which is the brain of the computer system. I hope that this point is clear to all the students. Isn't so? Up to here, if you've got any question, please ask me. Up to here, if you've got any question. Okay, so what are the different characteristics of this generation we need to know? What are different characteristics of this generation? We must understand over here. So these are the characteristics that we are going to discuss. Microprocessor was developed. Number one, fourth generation. Computers are very fast, have large storage capacities in GBs, in terabytes, gigabytes, terabytes. Computers are very small in size. You know that today this cell phone is a complete computer system. My cell phone is a complete computer system. You know, even it is faster than the supercomputer of that time. It is faster than. Okay. So these are small. You have got the computer in your pocket. Your cell phone, your tablet is a complete computer system. Your notebook computer system, your laptop computer system is a complete computer system. Large variety of softwares are available today. This is another characteristic of these computer systems. And operating system. Now the operating system has also, you know, changed. We have got GUI operating system. If you go to the third generation, there was DOS operating system, which is CLI in nature. CLI means command line interface. CLI means command line interface, on which you give input on command prompt. This is command prompt. You give input over here on command prompt. This is CLI operating system. It was there in the third generation, but in second generation and in the third generation. But in fourth generation, we had introduced graphical environment. Windows 3.5, Windows 3.x was introduced, which was a higher version of the DOS. Then we had got first proper Windows in 1995, which was Windows 1995. Then afterwards, there was a revolution in the Windows, and now you can see that we have got graphical Windows with a lot of options available with them. This point is clear. Okay. So if you will go to Google and if you will search that Windows operating system in second generation. Second generation. So they will let you know there were what kind of operating systems were there. Batch operating system, batch operating systems were there? Operating system in first generation. There were only input and output devices using punch cards. And now if we see the operating systems in third generation, computers. OS 360 was the operating system which was there in the third generation. Okay. So if you will see what were the different operating systems available at that time, so you will be able to know that there were some obsolete operating systems which are now obsolete. And if you go and you will see that the what are the operating systems in fourth generation, so it will show you the operating system that we are using today. Okay, so you will see that there is very large scale integration, and we have got different types of operating systems which are being used, graphical user operating systems which are being used today. Okay, so I hope that up to generation 4, these all points are clear to all these students. All these characteristics are clear. You will be able to remember all these characteristics that we have gone through up to fourth generation. Now you need to know the examples as well for four generations. I have already informed you that you need to remember these examples because these are not used nowadays, but you would have listened these names: dual core, core 2 dual, these all are the examples. Okay, students, now our class time is over. If you have got any question, please ask me right now if you have got any question. Otherwise, I am going to end this session. Okay. Yes, Abdul Hadi, you want to ask something? Yes, Abdul Hadi.
Yes, sir. Sir, about the notes, are they in the Google Classroom?
Yes, I will upload these notes in a Google Classroom. Still, these are not there. Okay, I will upload inshallah.
Yes, sir, but I don't have the code for the computer science.
Google Class code.
Yes.
Okay,
I don't have it.
Okay, just a minute, just for a moment. Those students who don't have the Google Class code, I am just opening. Note it down quickly. Please note,
Yes,
please note, this is the Google Cloud class code for your current class for computer science. Talking about computer science only.
yes, sir.
Fine, note it down quickly, students.